So, welcome everybody to the first Cats Protection Tyneside Adoption Centre podcast, or forecast, or PodCats, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully, we're going to make this a regular feature where we can discuss various things happening at the centre and keep all of our friends and co-workers and volunteers up to date with everything that's going on, particularly in these times where everybody's having to keep away from each other. So with me today, I've got a few people from the centre, although none of us currently are at the centre for various different reasons, but I'll ask them all to introduce themselves and you can get to know the team who's here today. So if you'd all like to give yourselves a little bit of an introduction.
Hello, my name's Emzy. I'm the Tyneside Adoption Centre Manager. So at the moment, I'm at home. I think the current accepted term is social shielding, but that keeps changing on a weekly basis. Essentially, I'm self-isolating as a member of a vulnerable group. So that's been a big change for me and a big change for the team as well. But everyone's doing an amazing job looking after the cats and doing what they do every single day. And we're learning to use new technologies like this to keep in touch with everyone.
Hi, I'm Lisa Dobson. I'm Deputy Manager at Cats Protection. I'm also isolated at the moment, but I'm hoping to get back tonight as from next week. But I'm also doing a lot of work from home, including the rest of the team. All this new technology is new to me as well, as everybody knows. But yeah, we're keeping on top of everything, and the team down at the centre are just absolutely amazing. All the cats, all the pictures, the videos, everything that everybody's sending through. The cats have been very well looked after, and I'm looking forward to getting back down to the centre.
So I'm Helen. I'm the volunteer team leader at Tyneside Adoption Centre. My job on a normal day would be to recruit and look after our wonderful team of amazing volunteers, although things are quite different at the minute. I'm still working, but I'm splitting my time between home and the centre. And when I'm at the centre, I'm getting to spend a lot of time with our lovely cats, as I'm doing a lot more cat care than I would normally do. So that's been quite nice. But I am missing all of my volunteers quite a lot, although we're keeping in touch most days.
Hi, I'm Kev. I'm one of the cat care assistants at the Tyneside Centre. Fortunately, still get to go into work. It's good just to be able to keep doing what we do, keep the animals happy. A lot more time socialising with them now. But it's just we're happy to still be able to go in and do what we love to do. It makes all the difference for the cats. So really happy still, not letting it affect me too much.
Now, as you can probably tell by the sound quality, we're not all in the same room at the minute. We're not even in the same building. I'm not even sure if we're in the same part of the area, so we're quite far apart at the minute. Social distancing is very, very important at the minute. At the centre as well, it's something that's affecting everything that we do. But how exactly are we working with social distancing at the centre?
Well, working with the skeleton crew at the centre is definitely helping, with there only being two people in at once. We barely see each other during the day. We'll catch up for a cup of tea, but at least a good 2 meters apart, as we should, as a minimum. But I think it's working for us. It's keeping the entire team safe. You keeping in isolation, keeping yourselves healthy. But the team it's good there still. It's working. It's hard work. There's lots to do, but we're pulling together.
I think for me, social distancing, it has affected my volunteers massively, because unfortunately they are not able to come in and carry on with their regular duties, and they really are the backbone of charities volunteers. They keep everybody going. So we're now having to find new ways of keeping everybody in the loop. So we're sending out little cat updates every couple of days, featuring a different cat each day, just little new things that they've learned. One of the plus sides of me spending a bit more time with cats is that we're able to do those little extra bits of like training and things that we wouldn't normally do. So we've currently got a cat, Johnny, who's learning how to clicker train, learn how to sit. So sending updates to the volunteers has been nice in that regard. Been spending a lot more time on the phone with volunteers, learning a lot more about each other. That's been quite nice. And I've also learned that our volunteers are keeping in touch with each other as well. So everybody's pooling together, keeping each other going.
I think it's important to maintain that sense of community within the whole team. That's something that we're really missing right now.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been really nice to hear that all the volunteers have been keeping in touch with each other. You know, new connections are being made, new relationships are forming. So I think that's one thing we can come out of the end of this with, is that we'll all be that little bit closer and hopefully have that stronger relationship. And I can't wait to see them all come back. I'm sure they're all dying to be back too.
At the centre, I think I was saying earlier, it's not something that comes naturally to us as a team, social distancing. So we're used to working very closely together, our team, and obviously having visitors on site and things like that as well. So it's been a bit of a change for everyone. So it is something that we've had to get used to, but obviously it's in the best interest of everyone to reduce any kind of potential spread of infection. So it's something that we've been very careful to follow very early on, in line with government advice. So as Kev said, instead of a full team, we only have the absolute minimum number of people needed to be on site at any given time, which has meant lots more remote working. So that's been a big change for the staff as well as it being a little bit like a ghost town on site. It's also a case of us all getting to grips with new technologies, finding different ways to communicate with the public and with our volunteers, like Helen's been doing. And making sure that we do have the right number of people to look after our cats, so they're safe, well cared for as well, so the cats don't have to compromise on their care.
Of course, with the cats, we are close to the public now, so we're all getting to spend a lot more time with the cats. So the cats have having the complete opposite of social distancing, really.
What I've heard, I've been at home for the last just under 2 weeks now, and the amount of pictures, videos that I've been sent from the team, who are doing absolutely amazing down at the centre. The cats, yeah, they are benefiting from the exact opposite of social distancing, because they're getting so much more attention that we've all wanted to do previously, which is great for the cats. And hopefully once we get back to normal, which we will get back to normal, then all these lovelies will, they'll get out to some perfect homes. And I'll be back, next week to help out on site. But at the minute, yes, I'm actually learning an awful lot more about technology than I thought I ever would do. So a massive benefit to me in that respect. But I would much rather be there with you all and get back to our lovely team that we have. Because we do have a very, as MZ was saying, a very close team. It's not a huge team, but it's a very, very close team, and that's the difference. It doesn't have to be large to be big.
So this COVID-19 pandemic that's going on at the minute, this is obviously at the forefront of everybody's minds, their conversation. It's on the news, it's everywhere at the minute. What would you say it actually means to the centre? I know we talked about social distancing, but that's not the only effect that it's having with us at the centre, or as the Cats Protection as a whole. What would you say this is actually, how has it impacted us?
Well, sadly, it means that we can no longer rehome cats at the moment. The reason for that being is obviously we don't need unnecessary visitors coming on site and potentially making our staff ill. If our staff are ill, who's gonna be there for the cats? So really, the cats are at the forefront, and unfortunately, it also means that we can't take any cats into the centre. We will obviously take in emergencies. We would never see a cat suffer. But yeah, it's really halted all operations at the moment.
Yeah, the current situation is a huge challenge for everyone the world over. I think every single business and every person is seeing an impact of this. For our centre in particular, we have had to significantly change lots of different ways of working. So we already have very stringent cleaning procedures where we are. We're in a good position in that for cross-contamination reasons and barrier nursing reasons in the centre, we're already very good at cleaning and hygiene, but we've had to do even more. And as well as continuing to care for our cats, we're also asking our team to do things on top of that, such as sharing photos, the videos, updates to volunteers, keeping in touch with our supporters as well, just so that people don't lose touch with the cats and that we don't lose touch with them. It's important because we have got such a good community and we are part of the community in our local area as well. It would be such a shame for everyone to lose those connections and those links. So things like this branching out into, video conferencing, webinars, podcasting, things like that, we're we're moving towards that at this moment to try and be able to keep those connections with people.
Yeah, COVID-19, yeah, massive change to everybody. No one can deny that at all. But yeah, we will all get through this. And the way that Cats Protection itself are supportive to each and everybody who's connected with Cats Protection has overwhelmed me. The information that we'll be getting through from Cats Protection, but also the commitment to our centre from each and everyone who's there it's brilliant. Everyone's being kept updated with pictures, videos, and personally, my point of view, we've been kept away, not by my choice, but being kept away from the centre for quite a few days now has really picked me up. Seeing what everyone's been doing, being able to chat to everyone and see videos, and to go back to what Helen's saying, it must be so difficult for the volunteers because they are the heart of a charity. They give up their own free time, they come in, and the benefits to them personally to come into the centre to spend time with the cats and the team. We need to get them back as soon as possible. Once this is, it's so important, and I think it's on everyone's mind. But a great big thank you to everyone who's supporting each other through all of this.
Absolutely. I think the volunteers, our charity is quite large, and there's no way we could operate on the scale that we do if it wasn't for our volunteers giving up their free time. They really are amazing people. I think one positive we can sort of take from this is that with having to change the whole way that we operate and the way that we work, it's really producing a lot of innovative thinking into how we can do things. Obviously, fundraising's sort of on hold. We're not able to hold events, and everybody's sort of pulling together. I mean, we're recording a podcast right now. Would that have happened if it wasn't for COVID-19? There's a lot of forward thinking and new ways of keeping connected, and new ideas being thrown about all the time. I've been reading the same thing in a lot of emails as why have we never done this before? So there is some positives, I guess, that we can take from this.
Yeah, hopefully even after all this has passed and hopefully a distant memory, we'll be able to continue with things like the podcasts, like the YouTube channel that we're setting up, and just expand our reach and be able to keep in contact with everybody in every possible format that we can. Now, one thing I would like to just touch a bit more on is, obviously we've spoken about the volunteers and how important they are. As when they come, they spend their time at the centre in various different forms and various different ways. At the minute, that's not possible because of the current situation. But if somebody does want to help Cats Protection or the centre directly, how can they do that at the minute? How can they do that while we're all under these lockdown conditions?
Well, I've actually got a friend right now. She's spending her lockdown time knitting toys for the cats that are going to be provided. She's either by post or as soon as this is over, we're going to get her back full of knitted cat toys full of catnip just for them. She wants to help in any way that she can, and she feels that's the way that she can give her time right now, and the cats will benefit from that in the future. So it's just nice that even people who aren't volunteers but still support the charity, they want to help in any way. So just sometimes the smallest gestures can make huge differences.
Also, in the future, obviously, we're going to want to start our events up again, our centre fairs, our events so anything that you can make in your free time. We've got some amazing volunteers. Kev's just said there that are doing knitting. We have volunteers who paint ceramics, paint glass, wine glasses, that sort of thing, just so that we can hold on our events at the centre, our tombolas, on our tombola prizes, anything that can keep you interested. We all need to have things to keep us going on a day-to-day basis. Let's face it, we need to keep mentally stimulated and going. But also from the centre's point of view, from a donation point of view, yes, there is obviously nobody coming onto site, so we're not receiving donations that way, but we can always take a phone call donation. We can take it by card. We can accept a check, but if anybody wants to make a phone call donation by their debit card, we can certainly do that. Because we're not on the phones all the time now, because all the time and attention is being put on the cats. If you want to email us, we can arrange a phone call back to you at a convenient time for yourself. It would be really appreciated. I'm not trying to use this as a donation podcast at all, but the question was quite correctly put out there. How can you help? Yes, you can help. We also have our Amazon wish list that people can go on to buy gifts to be sent to the centre directly. We're hoping that delivery still, with the amazing work of all the delivery drivers throughout the country, will still keep us, well, with gifts being delivered. So that is another option to do as well. But just your well wishes on our social media. Keep up with us. Keep sending your pictures in of the amazing cats that you've adopted from anywhere within Cats Protection, and we will share them. And we'll keep sharing. We need to keep everything alive, and yeah, because everyone will get through this. And there's a lot to be learned from all of this, as everyone's correctly said. And yes, we will keep going with innovations that happen now with social media, i.e. podcasts, YouTubes, websites, social media, everything. Yeah, brilliant.
There is still so many other ways you can help look after cats, care for cats. Cats Protection's vision is a world where every cat is treated with kindness and respect for its needs. And we have clear objectives to achieve that through rehoming, neutering and education. Rehoming is on hold for now. There's nothing we can really do about that, but we can absolutely still educate everybody. If you go to cats.org.uk, our website is filled with so much information about cats, so please get sharing it. Send it to everybody that you know. We want to spread the word on how best to look after cats and how keep their welfare at heart. And the best way to do that is through education. We also have an online module that you can complete at home. A lot of people are sat bored, not too sure what to do. Why don't you get yourself some free education and do our Understanding Cats Needs module, which you can find at our website, cats.org.uk.
That actually leads on to my next question as well, the next topic. As a lot of people are self-isolating or locked down, self-shielding, they're not able to leave the house. Cats, as we know, are creatures of habit, and they do like to wander out, or a lot of them. I'm lucky enough that my 3 are all house cats and have plenty to occupy themselves, especially with the amount of boxes that I've got at the minute. But how can you not only look after your cat, but look after yourself at the same time? We've talked about the mental stimulation, doing things like the knitting, like various different projects. What suggestions do you have for the people listening to this podcast as to what they can do to involve themselves with their cat and look after them and the cat at the same time?
So I'll start by saying the main thing that should be remembered during this difficult time. Obviously, we'll have a think about cats and humans and what the best way to interact with them are. But the main thing and the main advice that we're being given by the UK government website is to look after yourself by keeping yourself inside. So first and foremost, make sure you're doing that before you're thinking about anything else. To look after yourself, both your physical and your mental health, that's obviously a big challenge at the moment for everyone. It's a big change. Somewhere in the region of about 17% of all households in the UK have cats, and pets have been shown to be very good for mental health. It'll obviously be a big change for us as well as our cats. So for cats, they're creatures of habit. They don't like change. For some cats, obviously, it's going to be lovely having people in the house all the time and having lots of cuddles, as we've seen from the videos from everyone on the PodCats here. Cats climbing all over their owners, which is lovely. But for some cats, having lots of little people in the house or, lots of noise that they're not used to, that's going to be a big change for cats. So it's important to have a think about what you're doing with your cats in the home to keep them settled, to keep them comfortable. And for all cats to think about their enrichment as well, to keep them mentally stimulated. So it can be something as simple as, creating boxes and putting little puzzles in there for scatter feeding and puzzle feeding. It can be, playing with your cat a little bit more. Or for the more stressed cats, it could be things like pheromone diffusers. We've got a lot of really good advice on our website. So if you go to www.cats.org.uk, we've got a help and advice page specifically that talks about keeping your cat enriched, keeping your cat busy, and what kind of changes you can think about during this difficult time.
If you have an old Jenga game, the feed and enrichment possibilities are endless.
Yeah, we might have to do a video on that, on the Jenga. I know one of our other colleagues who isn't on the chat at the moment, Shannon, she's got a lot of ideas for YouTube videos about how to make a box fort for your cats and various other things. So maybe Helen might want to do a little one showing how we can use Jenga as a feeding enrichment toy for our cats.
Unfortunately, you may have to buy me a new Jenga set to do that, because our Jenga set has also been converted into a drinking game. So there's a lot of scribbles all over the blocks.
Oh, we'll see what we can sort out.
We have had a lot of questions from members of the public about what Cats Protection are asking people to do with regard to cats that go outside. So just to mention a little bit on that. So at the moment, the UK advice is if the person is non-symptomatic and the cat in itself is fit and healthy, there's no reason why a cat can't still continue to go outside if it's an outdoor cat. Obviously, keeping in mind that advice and, from the government and from researchers does change on a weekly basis. So do keep up to date with that. But with people who are symptomatic and who are struggling, or who might be in an at-risk group, it is recommended, general sensible hygiene procedures, washing your hands before handling your cats and after. And as much as you can do, try and limit outdoor access for healthy cats as well, if you're able to. But that's where the enrichment does come in. If you are concerned at all, we've got a lot of information on our website, and do focus on that enrichment. It will make a big difference.
Hopefully this is something that people won't come across too often. But what should people do in the case of an emergency with their pet, with their cats? A lot of vets are on lockdown themselves. They want to keep themselves safe, quite understandably. You mentioned before that the Cats Protection will take cats in, but only in an absolute emergency. What can people do if they do come across that situation, or what can people do if they find themselves in a condition where they're not able to look after their own cats and their own pets?
I know personally, from having 2 dogs and a cat, I've obviously looked into my own local vet and what the procedures would be. But I had 2 elderly dogs, one with a heart condition and a youngster cat. And yes, we have to all respect that even our fantastic vets are trying to protect themselves as well, but also they are frontline and they are there to look after our animals, because that's why they're in that role to start with, as we are. So I know personally that I have a telephone number for my local veterinary surgery. If I've got any concerns about my cats, or my dogs, I can phone them and they can discuss with me whether we can do a video call, we can do photographs over the phone, over social media, over our computers, to discuss the best way forward. I know 100% that my personal veterinary surgery will treat any of my animals in my care at home if they needed it in an emergency. I think we all need to look at the fact that, yes, we're all going to panic if our animals are poorly. Of course we will. Our animals are our children at the end of the day, in that same respect. We will get them care if they need it. And that's the way that I'm looking at it personally, from my own point of view, with the animals I have in care in my home at the moment, David.
Just to add, the veterinary practices are obviously regulated and governed, and because they are frontline services, they are doing absolutely everything they can to continue offering that level of support to their clients. So the majority, if not all of them, are now operating on an emergency only basis, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to provide support if it's needed. So do just continue in any emergency to contact your local vet as you would normally. Can we hear about Kev, about working at home and how having a family affects the working from home situation? Because it's obviously a difficult situation that lots and lots of people are facing at the moment.
It's a balancing act, basically. Got to make sure everyone's needs are attended to, make sure the kids come first and foremost. It's not easy, but we'll make it work. It's a completely new situation for everyone. We never had anything like this in our lifetime, but we'll adjust. We always do. Everything gets done, work gets done, kids are looked after, wife is taken care of, everything is done. It's not ideal, but we genuinely care about what we do at Cats Protection, and we'll make sure it works anyway, shape and form, Like I say, the kids, it's a challenge for them. It's all new for them. They're going to be a bit frustrated. Even yesterday, watching the podcast with the director, his kids were making noise in the background. You can see, so no matter what position you are in the organisation, we all have the same issues, more or less. So, obviously, working from home, if you haven't got kids, it's still a pain. It's different. It's awkward. I think it's the frustration. You want to make more of an impact than you can. You can only do so much remotely offsite. I mean, for me, this is new. I like getting my hands on. I like getting stuck into work at the centre. So this is a bit alien for me. I'm not that great with technology, so it's a bit daunting. But with a family and working remotely, it's difficult, but we'll make it work somehow. So
Yeah, Claire, I totally appreciate where you're coming from. I don't have young kids at the moment, but I do feel I really admire you actually at the moment to have 2 young kids in the house dealing with it. I just have, as I say, my 2 dogs and my cat. But I do equally feel very, very frustrated. It potentially can be a lonely time, but as everyone's added on today, there's so many things that we can all be doing to keep ourselves occupied. It's difficult to do that. It's to remind yourself every day, keep yourself occupied, because it's not what we're used to.
And
It's
the one thing that really helps us all right now is the cats. We've got 4 cats in the house, and if everyone's at each other's throats, all Willa has to do is something cute, and everyone just fawns all over her. We'll go up and look at Pi. The other 2 girls, they'll do their thing, and they keep us bonded. So despite it being tense at times, the cats they're like magic to us. They make such a difference to everyone, and it just reminds us why we do the job that we do, because it's not just about the cats; it's about the people as well. It's a mutual thing. So
as Helen and MZ have just said, animals are a great therapy, amazing therapy, and
as well, going back to the volunteers as well. I think being at the centre is healthy for the volunteers.
Absolutely.
It's therapy too. So
so I think what Helen's doing is amazing from the volunteer point of view, keeping all our volunteers updated as often as she can, with all pictures, videos, and all of us will keep on doing that to keep everyone realising that we are still there. It's just a bit quiet at the minute, but we are still there, and we will be back stronger and better than ever. Hey?
How are your cats finding you being at home, each of you?
Goose just thinks it's playtime all day, every day. I have to keep turning my microphone off because he's down by my feet shouting at me, play. But the novelty's not quite worn off yet. Yeah, I think he's quite enjoying it though. I think he's going to get a bit of a shock tomorrow when I go to work, because I'm actually working at the centre tomorrow. But he's got his other mum here as well.
Yeah, I think Sprout's the same. He's been a little bit naughty, but I think he's just been a bit cheeky. Oh, mum's here. But yeah, he's lots of squirrels and lots of cats and actually dogs time. So it's nice.
Well, with us, it seems like a different cat has adopted a different family member. So Will's glued to me. Pi absolutely loves Trio. Zombie absolutely loves Tristan. And it's weird. It's new. I mean, the novelty's not worn off for them yet. They're not getting fed up. They seem happier for it. So.
Yeah, it must be bizarre for them, mustn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Have us all home when normally we'd be out like all day, every day. We're more every day. But yeah, I think they might. Yeah, I think cats being cats, they'll take full advantage of that.
Food on demand.
Yeah, there's always more treats, isn't there?
Absolutely. Not too many though, David.
No, not too many. Well, I think that's everything for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will try and make this a regular feature. I don't know how often we're going to be able to do this, but we'll certainly try. We'll keep going in this format as long as necessary, and hopefully once everything gets back to normal, we might actually be able to sit in the same room and do a recording, and maybe use the TED room at the centre and do a recording every now and again, where we're a little bit closer together and we can actually talk and react a bit better. But for everybody listening right now, thank you all for joining us. As this will be on YouTube first of all, I do hope you like, share and subscribe. And if you do have any questions that you've got for any of the team, please leave them in the comments below. Alternatively, you can email us as well at tyneside@cats.org.uk. If you just put a little heading in the subject to say that you've got a question for the podcast, And we'll do what we can in the next one to answer as many as we can. And of course, you're welcome to contact us at any time. Because the phones aren't manned, if you do phone, please leave a message. But ideally, if you'd like to leave us an email, we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. But from myself and from the rest of the team, thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had a few technical difficulties with this, but we're learning all the time, and we'll try to keep going as much as we can. We'll bring you some more videos as well as other things. Keep an eye on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on YouTube, and look out for more from us, and we'll do what we can to keep you up to date.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David. It's been fun.
Bye.